What's up, fellow milk dumpsters? Welcome back to another video by legendary YouTube star Cripple and Crunch. The other day, I was thinking, gee, I love gaming and I love degenerates. So how do I merge these two genres? How do I go about making that an entertaining watch? And suddenly, the thought came to my mind. Sydney Watson. So then the task came of choosing an actual video to react to. She isn't exactly a creative genius, so all of her videos look the same, so it was actually quite the journey to find one that stood out, but I did eventually find something, and I think it is perfect for the kind of video I was going for. Woke developers are destroying gaming. Look, sorry for the ear rape, but if you're a subscriber to the channel, you should know the drill by now. Alright folks, let's Hiroshima that play button.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. Now, for those of you who don't know, I play video games in my free time because it's a way to switch my brain off. It's also very cathartic, so I don't commit murder.
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a bit so that this video doesn't become too reliant on ad hominem.
Some people choose to read books, others choose to watch Netflix. I choose to throw axes at dead people. So you can imagine the collective disappointment felt when leftists—
Yep, here we go with the buzzwords. Anyone who doesn't like me is a leftist or a communist or a hippie bastard. Call me a bit presumptuous, but whenever you start hearing people talk like this, you usually switch off. Let's be honest.
More and more as games are released or even updated and remastered, you see more and more political messaging in games that otherwise didn't have it before.
I hear this argument a lot, and a lot of people seem to think that there's like an agenda behind it or it's some actual political messaging, and sometimes the studio does have political leanings that they like to show off in their product, but more often than not, it's because of money. Because let's be real here, vaguely, I don't know, what do you call it, like progressive politics just sells better. At least in the United States, there are just more people that support that kind of messaging and will support the game as a result of that.
Unnecessary political and social messaging is already pushed in basically every other medium, whether it be entertainment, on social media, through streaming services, celebrities. Take your pick, really, just take your pick.
I don't really get what she's going on about here, like, yeah, politics is part of everything. It always has been. You can absolutely make the argument that you don't want that in your games, but don't be surprised that it's a popular thing and so it's featured in a lot of media. Also, bullshit that it's unnecessary. All of like the major political advancements that we've made over the years, you know, civil rights and gay rights, stuff like that, has been largely because of broader acceptance in like mainstream media.
It's like a plague.
My toxic trait is that I feel like a literal god when I look this hot.
Lol, guys, fat person, isn't that just hilarious?
And some of us were stupid enough to think that video games might continue to be more or less safe from that. But we were wrong.
What are you on about, dude? I'm gonna talk about the introduction to Fallout 1, which, need I remind you, came out in 1997. Just for some context, I'm going to give you a little bit of a lore dump. In the 2070s, when China invaded Alaska to use its oil reserves, as that had become a pretty sparse material by that time, the US decided to annex Canada in order to use it as an access path for their military hardware so that they could access Alaska and Anchorage far easier. This sort of 1950s-esque propaganda film that we see at the start of Fallout 1 shows patriotic footage and war victories over the top of US soldiers executing Canadian freedom fighters. If that isn't political commentary, then I don't have undiagnosed autism. There's always been moral lessons in games like this. It's not a new thing.
There are countless games that have gotten the same woke treatment.
Oh no, there's a lesbian in my video game.
Actually, in recent news, you guys are gonna love this. The Last of Us TV series that's coming out has introduced some race swap characters. Can you believe it? And I expect the whole thing will just be something akin to this.
Has the planet gone mad?
Well, isn't hindsight a bitch?
I have recently noticed a lot of forced messaging in games that I like and in franchises that I like.
Define forced, because last time I checked, no one's forcing you to play these games. So are you being strapped down to a chair to play these games and get the political messaging? Or was there a black person on the screen for 2 seconds?
In recent news, the Days Gone writer and creative director blamed woke reviewers for the game's low critic scores. He tweeted several reasons for the low reviews, with the final one being that woke reviewers couldn't handle a gruff, white biker looking at his date's butt. I mean, he's probably not wrong.
No, you idiot. It was because the game was fucking boring. Who would have guessed that a generic zombie shooter didn't do well in a market saturated with generic zombie shooters? Jesus Christ, these people make everything political.
Now, obviously, some people have pushed back here and said, no, it was just a not very good game, and maybe that's the truth of the matter. But I think the misunderstood point here is that what users want is often extremely different to what developers and reviewers want.
I guess that's kind of true, except both reviewers and the customers in this situation both knew it was a bad game. The developer seems to be the only one in this situation that's in denial.
An article from 2019 made note of several reviewers who complained about the game's white protagonist.
Okay, I get that this video is 4 months old, so this is old content, and I probably shouldn't talk, but are we seriously digging up 4-year-old articles? Ah yes, I remember when I was cancelled by the woke mob in the Cretaceous period.
The new Call of Duty called Modern Warfare 2, I don't know why my mouth can't say that, came out at the end of October. I can't stress enough that Call of Duty is a military game. You run around shooting things, throwing grenades, insulting everyone around you as a form of male bonding. It is not, by any stretch of the imagination, warm and fuzzy.
Hey, I think you're stereotyping my culture. As a young adolescent man, yes, it's fucking warm and fuzzy. Just because we're not having pillow fights and we're spewing slurs at one another doesn't mean those memories aren't gold. I know I've taken what was clearly meant to be a joke and just completely extrapolated it, but like, come on. Some of those memories in COD and CSGO lobbies are so fun. And yeah, it felt a bit warm and fuzzy, I'll be honest.
So in recent news, the Modern Warfare developers decided to add some things to this game that left people feeling a little confused and a little upset. Because apparently if you make any sort of entertainment, then you inevitably catch the Netflix, Marvel, and Disney bug. Stupid. Military game Call of Duty goes woke. No American flag, 22 gay pride flags, burning US flag, BLM allowed, but not WLM or FJB.
Are you telling me that a company wanted to appeal to a new and emerging market by disavowing the enemies of that new and emerging market? I can't believe it, man. The woke corporations have got us again. I'll refer back to that study that I referenced earlier on in the video, but I'll just put it simply. A corporation is always going to pursue the market that's going to make them the most money. There are more gays than there are White Lives Matter supporters. Who do you think is going to give them more money?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the latest installment in the franchise's runaway success, and was released on October 28, 2022, features not one, but 22 pride flags and no American flags as a call sign. Call signs in COD are basically one of the ways that you can distinguish yourself from other players in the game, and in days gone by, many of the flags that were available were country flags, not pride flags. Now, of the 29 flag options in this new game, 22 of them are pride flags.
Well, no shit, man. People care more about themselves now than they care about what country they come from. You know, we're past this post 9/11 flag waving bullshit now. I don't know if you've realized.
We're talking about 22 pride flags for sexualities that I didn't even know existed.
Look, you can argue about the validity of these sexualities all day. That's a different conversation. But at the end of the day, people like expressing themselves, dude.
So I just bought the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and I only have one gripe so far since playing the game. So I just started playing online last night, and for anybody who's ever played a Call of Duty game, you know you can customize your online characters, you can customize what they call calling cards, which is kind of what you see in the background here. So from the outset of this, you have 29 different calling cards that you can choose from. 7 of those are random, like Call of Duty type calling cards. 22 out of the 29 calling cards that you can pick from the outset are all pride flags.
Okay, just imagine yourself for a sec, right? You're a put together guy, like this guy clearly is. You got the beard, the hair, everything. You play a game and you absolutely love it. This new COD is just great guns. but you feel so compelled by some colored stripes on a screen that you pull out your phone, record a 30 to a minute long TikTok about fucking pride flag. God, people do not have their priorities straight, man. Now, to be fair, later in the video, he complains about there not being an American flag, which I guess is valid, but was it really worth filming a TikTok over?
This is an issue that developers run into all the time these days. They prefer to make games for their staff rather than for the audiences that actually buy them.
I'm just gonna leave this up on the screen for a sec, and this too. This bitch doesn't understand that a large majority of the game's player base is LGBT, so of course the game is gonna do what it can to appeal to that demographic.
The people who keep them employed so that they can drink their soy milk lattes and vote for Biden.
And if you weren't already convinced enough that this person wasn't completely disconnected from reality, A, she doesn't understand that that's not how game development works. The people who do the PR and the flags and stuff are completely disconnected from the developers. They're part of the corporate sector. And B, she immediately decides that anyone that does something that she remotely disagrees with voted for the person that she doesn't like. And it just really goes to show that these extremists, as always, are complete spastics.
People were also pointing out that there isn't a possibility to select an American flag, or any other country flag for that matter, as a cosign, but the only American flag that they found in the game is on fire, burning on the ground.
God, this isn't the Illuminati. It's in a fucking war zone. Of course it's on fire.
This actually reminded me a little bit of the controversy surrounding the Spider-Man game for PC that was happening in August, where someone made a mod that changed all the pride flags in the game to American flags. The mod was labeled homophobic, it was deleted, and the creator was banned from mod hosting websites.
Honestly, at that point, fair enough. That is major retard energy. You know, it's kind of circling back to that TikTok video from before. If you're that obsessed with it, you have mental issues and you need to go to an asylum. It really is just an excellent microcosm into the fact that Sydney, that guy from the TikTok before, and this modder are more obsessed with dunking on the other side than they are actually arguing their points.
But to be honest with you, and just, you know, because I'm obviously a pessimist and a negative Nancy about a lot of these things, I still think this situation would have gone the same way, regardless if the mod creator referred to pride flags as stupid or not. I still think that they would have seen this, decided that it was an attack on homosexuality and on pride, and then subsequently removed the mod anyway because no American flags allowed.
Jesus, the guy got banned because he was an asshole, not because he was some American chauvinist.
It feels like this is so present in so many different areas of the entertainment space or the creation of entertainment space, where a huge portion of people view any sort of nationalism as a huge problem.
Again with those buzzwords, man, but honestly, yeah, I've got to agree with the market sentiment there. Patriotism, that's good. Nationalism, not so much.
And the funny thing is, these people, these developers, these creators would rather give us 22 pride flag options rather than letting people select a flag that represents their country or a country that they like. Because it's not like these pride flags represent a very small portion of the population in the first place.
Again, like 20% of your primary demographic, but that's not the point. On the whole, like, country flag thing, I guess that's an okay point, but it's sort of like, why do you care so much? There has been like a notable decline in the level of patriotism among a lot of young people. It's for a variety of reasons, but it's been a general trend across most of the Western world in the last, like, I don't know, 30 years.
But Modern Warfare 2's game changes don't stop there. People have pointed out that you can make your clan name BLM, but if you try to use WLM or FJB, these are prohibited due to profanity. I did it! I lived long enough to see White Lives Matter become profanity.
Look, I'll level with you here. I don't like censorship, and you should be allowed to put it on your clan name as whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's their product, and if you're that pressed by it, you don't have to purchase it.
I guess the most ironic thing, and for me the funniest thing, or the saddest thing, depending on your perspective, is that I don't know how many of you have played Call of Duty or who consistently play it, but if you've been in one of these game lobbies or just been playing the game on multiplayer online in general, you're gonna hear a lot of swearing, you're gonna hear a lot of slurs, and if you don't have a thick skin, you are 100% gonna be offended.
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree, and honestly, judging by the amount of F-slurs that get thrown around in the queer community, they're going to love a COD lobby. People have thicker skin than you think, Sydney.
It makes me wonder how long it will be before these gaming developers or these gaming outlets, so to speak, start trying to enforce censorship in game chats. It looks like it's already a thing. Intel unveils a tool to censor hate speech in video game voice chat. I'm a fortune teller.
No, you're fucking not. This is a scripted video and you knew this was coming. And besides, yeah, censorship is cringe, but to act like flags getting added to a game is literally going to lead to 1984 is like something I'd expect from a sped, to be honest.
Bleep's central interface, I guess the thing that censors people, is designed to be easy enough for the average gamer to understand. It operates via toggles and sliders and allows the player to control exactly how much offensive speech is bleeped out. Players can choose to hear none, some, most, or all, and under which category of slurs. Ableism and body shaming, aggression, LGBTQ plus hate, misogyny, name-calling, racism and xenophobia, sexually explicit language swearing, white nationalism, and every possible variant of the N-word.
How does one exactly bleep out ableism and white nationalism?
It's called an algorithm, cockbreath.
So there you have it, bleeping out the voice chat. Very good.
Look, while I think it is a bit of a pussy move to use something like this, it's on the user's end, it's client side. It doesn't affect you and it doesn't blur out the speech for anyone else. Honestly, I'm really starting to think this chick's never been in a video game lobby in her life.
I guess my overall point here is that it's incredibly frustrating and distressing in a lot of ways to watch yet another medium be taken over by the same people who've taken over other areas of entertainment.
Oh my god, distressing? Do you need a tissue box? God, someone having a breakdown over something that isn't happening. That is the definition of an insane person.
As per usual, and this is not news to any of you, I think that it's quite clear that a lot of developers and critics are incredibly out of touch with the audiences who actually consume this sort of media and play these games.
Okay, I'm agreeing.
And the reason I personally think this is a massive problem is because these people inevitably go on to make changes to games, or just make games in general, that are unnecessary and inappropriate to suit their own agendas and narratives.
Yeah, whatever, dude. It has nothing to do with the fact that games keep coming out unfinished and broken, and reviewers just seem to kind of forget that and review the game as if those things weren't a problem. It really proves that people like old Sydney over here really don't care about video games and just care about, ironically enough, projecting their own political standard. I get that she's a political commentator at the end of the day, but could she at least try to care about this? The industry sucks, but it's not because of gay people.
Now, open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Are you a gamer who really doesn't like the new games that are coming out? You don't like the way that they're being made, the storylines, the messaging that comes from them?
Okay, so you're gonna have to put on your tinfoil hat with me for a sec, but do you notice how Sydney seems to conflate the messaging in games, which we've established is just messages she personally doesn't like, and storylines? A lot of people don't like how games are coming out lately, which is absolutely fair enough, and it's very obvious that she's trying to conflate having gay people in your game to it being bad. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anyway, that's